Yo, what's up guys? Teacher Paul here, and today we're reacting to this video from a channel called KTO.
As a Browns.
And here it is. So, this is a video that is called The Experiment That Ended Horribly, a college versus NFL game. So, previously, we were talking about college football, and the question that came up was, which one is bigger and which one is better? Is it college football or is it American NFL football? Which I just realized college football is American football. Anyways, is it college football or NFL? Let me know in the comments down below. What is your take? What is your opinion? I'm deep diving into American football for the first time in my life. And I hope you join for this journey. Let's go.
Fan, I had to constantly hear the same joke over and over.
He's a Browns fan?
Who would win between the Cleveland Browns and Alabama, a college team? This
Who would win? Let me know in the comments. I think this actually happened.
was mostly a jab at Cleveland Browns fans because of how bad the team has been, but some fans embraced it. To me, this is such a pointless concept. There is no way that a college team could ever win, and besides, this game would never happen, so it's a pointless thought experiment.
Are you sure about that?
But then I found out about this. The College All-Star Football Classic, a preseason football game between a team of college seniors versus the defending Super Bowl champions.
This is Soldiers Field in Chicago. Those are the Dallas Cowboys, and it seems a bit unreal to see them here because they are here to play the College All-Stars in less than 2 hours, a game that you'll be watching on Channel 8. The Cowboys have been looking forward to this game. Coach Landry is quite serious about it. We have heard rumblings out in Thousand Oaks, California all week to the effect that he does not plan to play many rookies because he does not want his team to become the first professional team to lose since 1963.
This is ridiculous. America's team playing against college kids. But
listen, I don't think it's ridiculous at all. In fact, this reminds me of a match that was played between Brazil and Barcelona. That is an epic thing. This happened in 1999, and we're also going to cover that soon. Soccer, Brazil versus Barcelona. That was absolutely awesome, and I wish they had this again. I find it fascinating, these experiments, and I feel like they should do it again.
But that's
what about you?
Teams like the undefeated 72 Dolphins, the ruthless Steel Curtain, and others played in this game. Just imagine being a college kid lining up against dudes like this.
Crazy, huh?
The game was played once a year, usually around...
Does he have no teeth? What happened to his front teeth? Was it during a match? Did he get his teeth knocked out? I feel like, yeah.
The game was played once a year, usually around August, and it went on for 42 years and played in front of crowds as big as 105,000.
I reacted to this. Penn State whiteout,
and played in front of crowds as big as 105,000.
That's crazy.
So let's go back and find out more about this football phenomenon.
Beaver Stadium, 106,000.
In the 1930s, Ark Ward, a sports editor of the Chicago Tribune, had a lot of influence in the sports world. In a time where the NFL was trying to gain more popularity, he started a charity event to help support that. This became known as the Chicago College All-Star Game, an annual preseason football game played at the Chicago Bears Soldier Field. The people of Chicago loved it. It spread like wildfire. In fact, in 1939, there were 7 separate games being played between college all-stars and their local NFL teams. But because the Chicago one featured the defending NFL champions and usually the best college players, it's the only one that stuck. The charity event was a massive hit.
It was a charity event.
In 1934,
that's even better.
Played in front of a crowd of nearly 80,000 fans. By 1942, the attendance numbers recorded reached over 100,000. It would maintain a minimum crowd size of 50,000 throughout each and every game that was played. Oh no, it happened. It actually happened. The Browns, who were NFL champions in 1954, played the College All-Stars before the 1955 season and lost 30-27. Well,
what? They lost to the College All-Stars 30-27. That's pretty close.
At least the Lions sucked too. They lost in 1958.
Wow.
Actually, this isn't as...
The Lions lost even worse.
At least the Lions suck too.
Dang. Dude, the college all-stars, they did very well. 19-35. This was 3 days. Oh, no. I thought it was 3 days later. No, it's actually 3 years and 3 days later.
They lost in 1958. Actually, this isn't as embarrassing as you might think. At that point, the series favored the NFL just about 2 out of every 3 games, winning 15 of the 25 matchups. I guess it makes sense why the game caught on. It was competitive, even going back to the very first game between the Bears and the All-Stars. Talk about a barn burner, a 0-0 tie. Oh, it seems as if fumbles got in the way. Now, I know
0-0? How is that even possible? How is like how long is a football match and how can there be 0-0? That's insane. That is insane.
tie. Oh, it seems as if fumbles got in the way.
Yeah.
Now, I know some of you are wondering how a group of college kids who had never played together could even compete, let alone win against a defending NFL champion, a group of men that have been playing together for years. Here's the 2 big reasons as to
They're
why.
faster.
Number 1, the NFL was not a powerhouse like it is today. As Dean Heibel puts it from this article from sportsthenandnow.com, in the 1930s, the NFL was still a fledgling league looking for a foothold in the sports world, where baseball and boxing were the kings. In fact, professional football players were often seen as mercenaries, while the college players were better known and more popular across the country.
That explains why college football is bigger. That makes a lot of sense. So, college football is something that has always existed. As long as college kids exist, football exists, right? Because kids play football in college. And then this commercial idea came about, and people were like, why don't we have a national football league where people leave college and they continue playing professionally, right? And then they made this league and tried to make it an event and tried to make it as big as college football was. I understand why college football may be seen as bigger than the NFL, because it's something that everybody already knew. Interesting.
NFL players did not make a great living back then, most of whom were working regular jobs in the offseason as opposed to training like they...
Hey, he looks like he's living the life, man. He has a cigar and a cigarette at the same time. Dang. Yeah, so this was back when it was not funded, right? There weren't any sponsorships. People didn't understand, like, okay, who's watching? Why are they watching? I understand why NFL, they wouldn't be paid because it was they were starting off. That makes sense. And back in the day, a lot of people were focused on other things rather than entertainment. I feel like we have a kind of like a privileged life right now where we can dedicate part of our lives to entertainment. Back in the day, I feel like they were really grinding, working, and worried about surviving.
Most of whom were working regular jobs in the offseason as opposed to training like they do nowadays. The second reason was by the 1940s, the college all-stars allowed black players to play for the team, where the NFL had not integrated quite yet. I couldn't believe this next part when I found it out, but the actual Jackie Robinson, one of the most famous athletes in American history, played in the 1941 charity game.
Wow.
One of the Bears' best players at the time.
I've heard of him because of play cards. So I watched this show on Netflix, Golden something, collectibles, and I've heard that his card is one of the most rare or sold, or Jackie Robinson, right? I know him because of that. So yeah.
said that Robinson was, quote, the fastest man I've ever seen in uniform. Anyways, as time went on, the level of NFL play improved. Black players were integrated more into the league, and the College All-Stars failed to win another game after 1963. The series would continue through the 1976 season, where it would have a very abrupt and rather ridiculous ending. In a matchup that featured college's best versus the mean and nasty Pittsburgh Steelers, the All-Stars were hopelessly outmatched. The starting college quarterback, who had just been drafted by the Steelers, got hurt. Then the backup would also exit the game with an injury. It was still the first half, and the college team was down to their third-string quarterback. Remember, this is a charity game that means nothing, but that was the least of the game's problems.
Bragging
Most
rights.
of that 1976 game was played in a downpouring of rain. It was so bad that some parts of the field were under as much as 1.5 feet of water.
my
In the third
gosh.
quarter, with the Steelers up 24-0, the All-Stars coach called a timeout due to the high wind speed and lightning. Look at those conditions.
Oh my
It was flat
gosh.
out unplayable. After that timeout was called, drunken fans invaded the field, causing the game to lose all control. Fans were sliding around, numerous
crazy.
brawls broke out, and they
This was a charity event? You crazy, man. You're crazy.
ripped one of the goalposts out of the ground.
What?
NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle decided to call the game right then and there. Like I said, this was the final game of the series.
It never happened again
The
because of the
enthusiasm for
weather.
the game had been slowly fading for years. In what started as a spectacle to the local fans who came to watch a good game, had evolved into an event for drunk college kids, with attendance numbers dwindling by the decade. If you think getting hurt in a meaningless bowl game in college nowadays is bad, in 1949, one player who was practicing for the college team tore up his knee so bad that he never played a snap in the pros.
Wow.
Overall,
Poor guy.
it was time to wrap it up. Although, I can't help but wonder how the game would be
Dang, I feel like the most common injury is the ACL. And dude, that is horrible. I've seen so many stories of players that miss out. Actually, I feel like those are also from series. People who miss out, or movies, because of injuries. And some of them never, ever manage to make a comeback. Some of them do, some of them don't.
nowadays. If this game was played today, let's say all the players at the Combine this last year versus the Kansas City Chiefs, what do you think the score would be and how the game would go? Comment down below. Honestly, I think the game would be a hit. Imagine those college dudes
Big
trying
guy
to
moves
defend
fast.
this.
Fifth option. Whoa.
Completes it. Look out! Afterburner time. Hartman to the end zone for the touchdown. My goodness, sir, there's some things.
Am I not going to get copyrighted for this?
Jump pass.
Dude, that is exciting. Speed kills. Hey, I wish they would bring these spectacles back, because it's so nice to see what could have been, or what, the unknown. Who do you think would win? I don't know who the big teams are right now, but college football team or the NFL champions? Don't know. That's a great question, isn't it? The all-stars of the all-stars of the college football against the current champions of the NFL. That's always a great scenario. But in a game of football like this, which is so physical and it's dangerous, I understand why they wouldn't want to keep doing it. Even though it's a friendly, even though it's an exhibition, a charity match, you can't put a grown NFL team against growing college kids. It's just crazy. It's just, nowadays it feels like they would get crushed. But then again, you'll never know. I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you're enjoying these videos, my coverage, and my deep dive into American football. Let me know what videos I should react to next. And if you want to support the channel while requesting a video, go over to Buy Me Coffee. The link is in the pinned comments. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.